Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oceanside, California for the 2015 Race Across America. Our coverage of the 34th edition of the race this year continues with our team press conference. But first, an update on the solo race, which is heating up figuratively and literally as it crosses into Utah. After nearly 48 hours of nonstop racing since they began on Tuesday, the top competitors have pushed through the California and Arizona deserts where temperatures have soared over 110 degrees. Two competitors have already been forced out of the race by the heat, including one of the United States' best hopes for a top 5 finish, Alberto Blanco. At the front, defending champ and course record holder Christoph Strasser has retaken the lead after trailing his fellow Austrian and training partner Severin Zotter for the first day. Not far behind is veteran RAAM cyclist Gerhard Gulowitz, making this year's race so far an all-Austrian affair. In the women's division, it's six-time champion Shauna Hogan returning to RAAM for the first time since 1998 in the lead by a bare 11 minutes over first-time racer and Swiss cyclist Isabelle Pulver. Behind them is, in her third effort at RAAM, is Canadian cyclist Joan Deichmann. We turn now to the team competition, which begins this Saturday. 45 teams from 12 countries will embark on what Outside Magazine has called the toughest endurance race in the world. We're joined by 4 of those teams today. Allow me to introduce them as we go down the line. Immediately to my left are members of Team Ruckers and Rollers from the United Kingdom. From the United States, we have Intrepid Fallen Heroes. Also from the United States, one of our women's teams, Love, Sweat, and Gears. Next to them, Bike Like a Girl, an 8-woman team, the second in RAAM history. And last but certainly not least, Team Live Earth, who's in a very competitive mindset here. This is their second RAAM after competing last year as Team Innovation Africa. But I'm going to start first with Team Ruckers and Rollers.
Thanks, boys.
We have here with us John Hall and Alex Popham. Now, John, as I understand it, you are 2 8-man teams, but you're used to a different kind of 8s. Your team has a unique composition. Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Yes, we've got 8 international rugby players. I was just looking around at everyone. There's these sort of very fit-looking cyclists, and then there's a load of big units like us. And we've got 8 ex-international rugby players of varying sizes. But yeah, it's an interesting combination, but we're looking forward to it.
What now with training and for this type of endurance competition, coming off of a rugby team, especially at that such elite level, can you sort of give us, or maybe Alex can, sort of a idea, competing at an elite level in a sport like rugby, but now coming into, I mean, one of the world's most difficult endurance races. What's the change? What's similar? What do you bring from your experience that's helping you, and what do you find that's sort of unique about this?
Well, I think the mental toughness, I think, from being a professional sportsman is going to help and hopefully put us in good stead during the race. I think with us doing the event and getting on and off your bike is not similar to rugby, but where it's a stop-start sport and you do your training, it's speed endurance. I think that's going to help where you cool down, but it's just going to be really difficult, and yeah, fingers crossed we do well.
Well, good luck to you. We'd also like to give a big welcome to Team Intrepid Fallen Heroes from the United States. Joining us, Winston Fisher and Brian Collins. Now, Winston, this is your second go here, I believe. You were here last year, and you guys took a different title in this competition, raising the most money for charity. And already this year, I've been told you've raised $625,000 for the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. Could you please tell us a little bit about your charity that you're racing for?
Thank you. Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund is it's an organization that today is building traumatic brain injury centers around the country to help diagnose and work with injured men and women in the military who've been injured with obviously traumatic brain injury. So we have a center down in Washington, D.C., and then we're building these satellite centers. So every dollar that we raised is going towards building the center. We have a 0% expense ratio for the race and for the charity.
Now, training for RAAM, as we've already heard, is a unique experience. I've heard you you especially in your executive officers in New York, I believe, have set up sort of your own unique training center. It's a what was this room beforehand?
So we set up a pain cave, and we took we're in real estate, Brian Collins, myself. So we took an old machine room in one of our buildings, and there's actually fan belts going and everything, and we put a big sign up that says Pain Cave. We have our Wahoo kickers. We actually put a TV in there, and so we go, it's a place to go dark in our training. So.
And this is happening at all hours? I mean, how are you working it in with, I mean, your busy schedule? And do you feel like you've been able to put in the miles this year that are necessary for an event like this?
Well, the answer is we clearly haven't put in enough for a 4-person team. But I'd say on average, the team, we all managed to get in between 16 to 20 hours a week for the last 2 months of training. So we, just go home, wake up early in the morning, stay up late, take our weekends, you name it, we would do it.
The life of a RAAM cyclist. Always interesting to hear how the people get these miles in. Of course, this remains an amateur event, even though we have several elite and professional athletes out here, but no prize money for this. People are out here doing this for whatever is within themselves. And one team that knows something about that is Love, Sweat, and Gears. For a woman team, and joining us from them are Ann Lance and Susie Wargen. Ladies, this is your second year, and this is you've raced, or third, excuse me, and you've raced with this team before, and Susie is a newcomer. And bringing in the experience from last year, what are your expectations for this year? What do you expect of this team and your accomplishments?
Well, it's just such a privilege to be able to come back a third year and to have a crew that, for the most part, wants to come back as well. Our expectation, we really don't have any expectations. We love this event. We've got Susie with me here and Susan Williams, who are new to the team, and we know they've worked hard. They've prepared mentally, physically. We're just looking to have a great time and go fast. That's what we get on our bikes and we just go. So we're looking forward to more of the same that we've done in the past.
Trying to go faster than last year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Susie, first time coming at this. You describe yourself as an athlete.
I did.
What?
Where did I write that down?
What are your thoughts about getting into this? I mean, you're riding with women that have done this before. You're in good hands. But for you personally, still some nerves pre-race?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think everybody's going to have nerves, whether they've done it or not before. I interviewed Love, Sweat, and Gears the 2 other years that they did this at the I work at a TV station in Denver, and I told them, I said, if you guys do this again in a couple years, I think I'd like to be involved. And it just worked out timing-wise. I was able to put in the training and be a part of their team. And so I'm excited. I'm honored, and I know what they've done the other couple years, and we have an amazing crew and crew chief that has got everything all planned out, because the logistics, as everybody knows, is pretty insane for this. So it's cool. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Was it surprising for you to sort of see all the logistics that go into this and sort of how they put together their crew vehicles and everything?
Oh, absolutely. It would be very difficult to not be involved with this unless somebody had done it before, or if you're just starting out doing it. I mean, it's mind-boggling to think of everything that goes into it.
Well, thank you very much. Going down the line here. Now, Love, Sweat, and Gears looking to go a little bit faster, but Team Bike Like a Girl, 8-woman team of cyclists, second 8-woman team in history. They're looking to go even faster. There's talk of a record.
Yes, there is. We are the second 8-woman team, and none of us has done this before. We have 20 crew, and none of them have done it before. But we're not deterred. We're not really big units either, but we have some small, really strong units. And yes, we have some big goals. Our primary goal is to beat the 8-woman record, and we feel really confident about doing that. And 6 of us are from Annapolis, which means we're riding home. So we have every incentive to go very fast.
So, I mean, it's an extraordinarily ambitious goal to break a record when everybody's coming out for their first time. What kind of research goes into this? What kind of strategy do you put together, and how do you feel you'll be ready to make that goal?
So one of the first things that we noticed when we embarked on this journey is that there's an incredible generosity of spirit amongst RAAM teams. And in Annapolis, we were lucky to have a couple very successful RAAM teams, Team 4 Mill, the Strategic Lions, and last year, Team Friends Foundation. So they have shared a lot of strategy with us, and we could not have done it without their help, all being first-timers. So we've got our 2 squads of 4, and they've shared racing strategy plans of the rotating poles, and we've based our training on that. And we have our fingers crossed. That's our secret weapon.
Now, how long have you been training for this? When did you first decide to get together as a team?
Boy, we honestly only got together this past summer as a team and realized that we were on the shorter end of the timing needed. And our serious training embarked in January. We have a wonderful coach, Julie Young, who's been working with all of us, and the team has definitely put in the hours. The Annapolis team spent about 2 months inside on their trainers because of snow. So they had multiple pain caves in town. 2 of us are from Reno, Nevada, and we were lucky to have not really much snow at all this year, so we made up for it by being outside a lot.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to move on now to Philip Tinsman and Tony Restuccia from Team Live Earth. Now, you gentlemen are returning to RAAM this year after competing last year as Team Innovation Africa, in which you gave Team Legends of the Road a definite run for their money, and that team had Dave Mira and former Pro Tour cyclist Dave Zabriskie on that, and that was a barn burner right to the finish line. You guys are back this year, here to win it. I think I heard talk of also breaking the 4-man record. Is that true? Is that your goal?
You know, it's like I'm the type that, or we are the type that, you know, we're going to leave it all out there. And, you know, you always go for the record, you know, and it's like if you come up short, you come up short. But the plan is to put it all out there.
We've already heard that temperatures out in the desert have gone over 110. It's one of the hotter years out here. There's also talk that there's some course changes due to road construction. Rain predicted along the Mississippi River, possible flood conditions. How much does the weather and sort of the chaos of the environment play? And they're off. How much does the chaos of the environment play in a race, especially when you're racing against historical performances?
You know, I think in any racing situation, there's things you can't control and you just have to deal with. But, you know, it's like I know all of us are very accustomed to the heat. I'm from Phoenix, you know, and so, like, I actually prefer the heat. So these kind of things, it's like you have to roll with the punches. But, you know, at the same time, you may get that little tailwind that helps you out, you know, a bit. So, you know, it can work for or against you. It's just things beyond your control.
When you're out there on the bike, mentally speaking, and I'll toss this to both teams down there. Are you looking at the clock? Are you thinking about where you should be and where you are at the moment, or do you have to put that out of your mind to keep pushing ahead?
I know that I personally have pretty much broken this down into little segments, and I can really only focus on the next piece that I have to do. If I try to think about day 6, it's just too overwhelming. So I just put it out and deal with what I have to do right now.
Michelle, do you have any thoughts on that?
We have a lot of former military folks in our crew, and our crew chief is a former fighter pilot, and one of his call signs was good with numbers. So he has taken that to an extreme level, and we've got a mega spreadsheet similar to what Tony is talking about. And I would agree with Tony. I actually know Tony back from the East Coast years ago. He's one of my first friends riding way back when. So it's pretty cool to be up here sitting in the same space. So we too will have short-term objectives. You know, when each squad gets out there, we will have a target that we're going for. And that's highly motivating. We've all got that, all Garmin's ready to rock and roll and focus on that.
Now, John Hall, I'll come back to you. Michelle mentioned spreadsheets. The ladies talked about logistics and putting crew vehicles together. Now, Ruckers and Rollers is actually 2 teams, 2 8-man teams. An extraordinary amount of logistics involved in that, vehicles, crew changes. It can't be easy to keep 8 elite international rugby players fed. How does all of this come together? I mean, what's more challenging, to actually pedaling the bike or keeping this all managed and resourced throughout?
I think feeding us is, a major problem. Alex next to me is I've never seen anybody eat like it. I mean, he just packs it away. And we got Warwick over there. He's 6'9", 124 kilos. God, he takes some feeding. But no, there's a huge amount of logistics going into this, and I think we had a meeting last night. Well, we had a bit of a run out yesterday, and we had a meeting last night afterwards, and I think it just pennies dropped with a lot of the crew how much work goes into this, and we've got a mad, frantic rush going on with the two teams that we've got entered, and lots of people doing lots of jobs, and hopefully it will come together on the day.
How many support crew do you have for each team?
11 support crew, I'll get this right, for each team, and obviously the 8 riders. So there's 18 or 19? 19 in each team. Sorry, good maths.
It takes 19 people to get 8 cyclists all the way across the U.S. for 3,000 miles. An extraordinary effort. I guess navigationally speaking, by show of hands, has anyone or anyone that's been on a team before made a wrong turn on the course? Just show of hands. Never. So it happens now and then, and I guess it just goes to show that the crew is such an integral part of this. I'll pass this question down to Winston. Winston, you've done this before. Your coach, Jimmy Riccitello, is here, a legend in the Ironman community. He raced this with you last year. How do you feel about your crew, and are you in good hands? And are there any other concerns as we prepare to start this race on Saturday?
Well, I think we're in great hands. Jimmy is, so to speak, you said a legend in the triathlon community. Great guy, but highly organized. We have returning crew members who are coming back with us. So a lot of this is, just good coordination, right? And these guys know what they're doing. We as riders respect them, and we do our best to actually help them out. We realize it's actually almost as hard for them as it is for us. So really working together to create a great experience. And hopefully nothing goes wrong, right? I mean, stuff does. Are we nervous? Yeah, it's 110 degrees. There's torrential floods coming, wind in Kansas. But we wouldn't be human if we weren't. We're excited for this. I mean, the idea is people keep saying, leave it all out there. I mean, we hope over the next 6 days we finish and we have nothing left in the tank, and we actually had to deplete the reserves that we have. I mean, this is go deep, go dark. So.
And a question for you now. Winston's talking about managing the team, the logistics in the vehicles and what have you. Personally, though, how do you manage your nutrition on the bike? We've already heard that Christoph Strasser maintains a pretty much a liquid diet throughout the entire race.
Right.
And he's running at the front now. He's broken the course record before. But even he had some stomach issues throughout the first day and evening on that course due to the temperatures.
Yep.
As you continue on day 3, day 4, how difficult does it become to stay hydrated, to keep your nutrition balanced, and what's you personally, how do you manage it?
Well, the crew plays such an important part in that for us, because we've instructed them to help keep us. Tell us that we need to eat and that we need to drink, because you do start to get a little delusional. But my philosophy is I'm eating today for what's coming up 2 days from now. So thinking about starting our race on Saturday, we're thinking about how we should be fueling today to prepare for what's coming in 2 days, and then that just sort of rolls as the race continues on. Because we're not doing a solo effort and we're not on the bikes like Christoph is, we're basically off of our bikes every 4 hours. So during the hours that we're racing, we're very vigilant in fluid intake. I tend to eat food. I don't tend to rely just on liquid. So, you know, it's pretty close to the way I train for this event. And so it is hard, though. I mean, the heat definitely tosses a little bit of a challenge because you can become dehydrated so quickly. And as we've seen, racers can be taken out of the event, you know, within a matter of hours. So we rely on our crew to remind us constantly. I think that as the 4 racers, we've talked a lot about it and just having practiced what we're going to do for the race during our training. So I feel pretty confident that we're ready to go.
Lisa Lunt from Team Bike Like a Girl. We were talking about nutrition, but sleep also. And of course, as an 8-member team, you're sort of on the opposite end of the spectrum from the solos, like Shauna Hogan and Isabel Pulver up at the front. With 8 people, how are you managing your poles? How much time are you guys expecting to spend on the bike and off the bike? And what kind of stuff do you have to do while you're off to get ready for such an extreme effort while you're on? Because this is I mean, you're looking at this as sort of a sprint relay, right?
That's right. So we've divided our 8 into 2 4-person squads, and each squad will have about an 8.5 or 9 hour shift. And within that shift, each of us will race for about 15 minutes, 15-minute sprints. So I did the math. That's about 65 sprints across the country per person. Wow. And we have a pretty fantastic nutrition and hydration plan designed by Stacy Sims of Osmo, which is a sponsor of ours, that is fantastic, and we're blending it with what we've all used in training. Sleep-wise, we have 2 RVs. We've got the sorority RV and the crew RV. So we've got the women's RV, and I hope very much that we're able to sleep there. We've got some hotel rooms along the way, and we don't know how well we'll sleep. We have eye patches and earplugs, and we will try our best to get sleep, but we will all be sleep deprived in a few days, I'm sure.
Going down to Philip of Team Live Earth, for you guys going for a record and having chased Legends of the Road last year, what was your experience with fatigue by the end of the race? Is it more about the sleep deprivation or more about that aerobic and muscular effort? What makes you feel worse?
I'm going to pass this one to Tony as I didn't do it last year, but he has a little more insight than I do on that.
One of the things we tried to do differently was to make it not a race of sleep deprivation. You know, if it's a 1-person, a solo or a 2-person team, obviously you're not going to get much sleep. But with 4 people, you can try to really arrange it so that you can sleep. I think, you know, we were more just physically exhausted instead of just too tired by the end of the race.
Muscles blown out.
Yeah, our muscles were done.
And how long does that take to recover from? You know, when did you start feeling like getting on a bike again after the race across America?
I didn't ride for a month afterward, but I think that was more just mental than physical. I think we actually said at the end that we could have gone for another day if we absolutely had to. So I think the strategy worked pretty well.
So it helps to be fast and get done so you don't have to ride that extra day. Well, best of luck to you and all the teams here today as you set out. Hopefully there's no extra days of riding for any of you. Get across the country as fast as you can. We wish you the best of luck. Our team competition starts this Saturday at 12 p.m. We thank you all for joining us. For Race Across America, I'm Jim Gorley, and we'll see you Saturday.